even notice the laser beams.
The laser wrap.
You actually,
Ow.
you actually counted it out.
Yeah, this isn't Fridays.
Oh,
Oh, some bitch.
I didn't even think of that. I did it yesterday for Nick, and it just took over.
spaghetti
everybody.
proof.
Hold
Hi,
on,
World Wide Web.
Before I thank everybody, Nick, when you say you're making spaghetti from scratch, I better see you wringing out some noodles, because if you're just making sauce, it doesn't count.
I don't think he knows how to spell sauce, so he tries to avoid it. We've run into this before.
Sauce? What are you talking about? It isn't cave.
Swass. Swass.
This is
It's
Nick.
true.
He can spell sauce, he just can't say it.
Wait, it's all right. The overlay's gonna get
I
messed
believe
up.
that.
I see meat, onions, and
Yeah.
peppers.
Making
Where's the
sauce from scratch.
where's the pasta? I was gonna say everything is from scratch except the thing I eat.
Everything. Yeah.
Hey, you're doing more than I can do. I'm just teasing you.
No, I knew what you were doing. What you meant.
Hello everyone. Hey Curls, Wednesday night. It's actually Wednesday night this time, Curls. Good luck in
This
your
time
fight.
it
Hopefully
is.
the demon with the moving floor and balls dies.
Moving floor
The
and
demon have moving balls?
moving balls.
Demon toy.
Demon toys.
Yeah, I think it's pretty
Meat
much.
toy?
Why is everyone blue? I don't know. Why is everyone blue? Hello, lovelies.
What are we reading?
Chat.
Oh, you're going from the beginning.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't scroll
Generally,
up.
how you start reading things.
No, I live in the present, baby.
Not if you're.
I live in the. You,
I was gonna
you
say,
start
not if you're
reading from the
me.
beginning of the book.
I read the back cover and say that was a good book.
I skip to the middle,
Very
get
much.
confused and mad, and I throw it out the window, and then I say I'm going back to doing football.
Who am
I
I
don't know.
kidding? I don't read.
Whatever the antithesis of reading is.
Everyone's name except me and Jeremy are blue. Well, why is everybody so sad? Hey, last save, welcome back. How are you?
Hey,
Hello.
load last save. I love how when
Hey.
load last save hopped in last time, and
Yeah.
like the ongoing bit was trying to like quick save so we can
Yeah.
go back.
Is that why you
Perfect.
follow?
Perfect
I was
timing.
gonna say, is that why you follow? Because they were trying to quick save. You're like, I gotta get them. I was gonna say because I made my Twitch name Forced Reset when I was watching speedrunners, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so funny because they're gonna reset. And I'm gonna be like, hey, you did a me.
It did on me.
Hi everybody.
What? Oh, come on.
That was a perfect timing.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to episode 10 of the Arcane Archives. Exploring the archives of the Arcane. Today we'll be discussing chapter 32, Diplomacy. Didn't
Yes.
even have to
Oh,
look it
yeah.
up. I'm proud of myself. It's like I wrote a
Yeah.
recap or something.
Hey.
Okay.
I named it something easy this time.
Yeah, thank
Not
you.
for the wind blows across the napes of the philosopher.
And I would just go chapter 18, The Wind.
The wind.
The wind blew.
Died of wind.
What is that from?
It's it's really weird because it's like impossible to find now. But John Oliver had a stand-up bit routine like back in the day, where he just he read the whole writs of death in like the 19th century England. And since we didn't really know as much as we do now, people just wrote down died of wind, died of several accidents.
6 adventures locked in a room with the BBC. Big beautiful council. Okay.
That is what happened.
Hey Nick, you know, you shouldn't be allowed to be logged into our channel anymore.
Why would he do?
Said that.
Decided to type.
To talk.
6 adventures locked in a room with the BBC. Big beautiful council. I don't get it.
I don't care what
Do I
you're
need to pull
posting
up-
from. But we'll
Do I-
discuss it. Chapter 32, Diplomacy. It was a pretty dense chapter. With
Dense.
an anonymous gifter gave Low Last Save a tier 1 sub.
Hey.
Woo!
Thank you, anonymous gifter.
I like the little ghost that's
Who are
next
you?
to it. Who
Who's
did it?
anonymous?
Who's anonymous?
Who's an
Anemone.
Who am I? Anonymous. Anonymous.
Namaste? Wait, why is Shay... No, and then laughing really hard at Jeremy. What did you say?
Nomination.
No, before
No,
that.
it was before
This is
that.
a bit before that.
Oh.
It might have been when you were saying you didn't get what Nick said.
Oh,
Oh.
BBC. I don't get like why.
Oh,
What's
gotcha.
funny about that? What does it mean?
Yeah. Shay, let's see if you can get past Nightbot. What does it mean?
Bodacious bouncing.
Crown.
I
Bodacious
like
bouncing
Crown
cr-
better.
Jeremy, you know what I
That's not bad.
realized, by the way? You remember RPD when we were kids and I named it Ryan was
Yeah.
being dramatically? That's literally the initials for the police station where we live.
It is.
I never realized that, and it upsets me. Big beautiful male chicken. BBMC. Or black chicken. Big beautiful black male chicken.
It's actually not beautiful. It's beautiful. Because there's
Oh.
a very important beautiful. There's no excuse to spell that wrong after Bruce Almighty.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, that,
Beautiful.
anyway.
Jim Carrey helped everybody with that word.
Yeah,
from
I
here on
spell
out.
every time. BAA. But yeah, whoever that anonymous person was, you're amazing, and welcome to the Spork Army.
Well done.
Um,
Spork Army, enjoy those emotes. Let's actually get some emotes in the chat
put
to
some emotes in the
celebrate.
chat, yeah.
No.
You
One
celebrate while I
more.
recap.
One
so
of us. One
We
of us.
Nick.
we've never spelled anything wrong ever.
Never.
You only need the
spelled-
first and the last letter, and we'll understand it.
Yeah, but
True.
except exploring is exploring.
Yeah, and we all read it as exploring for 3 weeks.
It's true. Nobody cared.
But chapter 32, diplomacy. The main focus on the chapter was the meeting with the Council of Uthran and a meeting with the Grand Duke, where the collective was to be messengers for pretty much the entire half of the continent and let Uthran know what has been happening in trying to stop a pending war and to end this conflict between the two nations and to make sure that it didn't get any more violent than it already had. The conversation was, in my humble DM opinion, pretty fluid. There wasn't much headbutting up until around the end. A lot of points were heard, and some surprising clarity from Brias, but ultimately ended with the decision of Uthran opening a connection to Celeria to have more direct talks with them to make sure that this war does not happen, as well as King Brias wanted the collective to do what they have been doing to either show some sort of trust or to really prove their allegiance in some way, and to end Vovex, the bestowed life, which Ecclesias was not too fond of before leaving to go close his community pool. You'll get your time. And afterwards, some fun dialogue between Alar and a butler, which basically told him to get it himself. Uridin sneaking around Vunra Manor to try and spy on Zio's parents. Zio and Cthulhu beating the shit out of each other, and June trying to cheat, and Uridin winning an archery contest before everyone hunkered down. And Ecclesias speaking with his master, William Vale, and seeing a upgraded version of whatever sort of means of magic they've been using to communicate before.
To say the least.
Yes.
Man, that was
and
cool.
He also gave you a small box to give to Master Uban in Uthran, as well as promise you that he would be a little bit more communicative with you and to not leave you so alone all the time.
I've been a bad master.
As the session wrapped with a couple notes, Uridin overhearing a conversation between Kane and somebody else, speaking of not being able to take someone, not thinking he wanted to put them through that, nor would they be ready, not sure of who he was speaking of. As well as all of you, unbeknownst to each other that you all had the same dream, but all having the same dream of the Goliath, as well as Cade in sort of a ethereal black area with a spotlight on him humming some sort of tune, And Ecclesius also, with the help of Master Vale, saw Vovek using some sort of shadow magic to shield himself, sprout wings, and it seems that he has gotten a little bit of a one-up. And that is where we ended the session. So I do want to open for the three of you, because this is going to be probably a big, long question to answer. How do you think the meeting went?
Your face.
We'll start with Ecclesius. How do you think Jeremy, how do you think the conversation went? And then we'll ask from Ecclesius' standpoint.
I think it went really well as Jeremy, as me. I think it went really well. Everybody made points that were relevant and not redundant. I didn't feel like we went around in a circle. And as a player, it was nice because there's a lot of subtleties. Not to get all silly and pretentious about role playing and D&D, but there's a lot of subtleties to not having ad nauseum conversations that go on forever. So I was really happy with how everybody played and proud that everything that was said was punctual and relevant. And didn't, like I said, it didn't go on like my rambling is right now. As Ecclesius, he wasn't angry. I felt like everybody misinterpreted him as being angry or snobby. It was more confusion. So it might have been my failing as like a role player to come across that way. Because Ecclesius is usually always pragmatic and level-headed, but I was trying to portray him being more confused as to why all of these formalities are being put in place if the conclusion was that Duke Rutherford was just going to say, okay, well, keep doing what you were doing, and this whole meeting doesn't really matter, because you guys would have just been doing what you're doing anyway. So that's kind of how I thought about it as a character trying to be like, well, why all these formalities and why the audience if you're just going to say, okay, keep going on. Keep doing it.
Okay.
But time will tell if that's what they actually meant, or we'll find out.
Sure. June?
I felt like I was happy that Ecclesias kind of took the step up for most of it, and as a player, like Jeremy, kind of like role-playing Ecclesias, like, anybody else want to come up here?
Someone else want to roleplay?
Yeah, anybody else? But overall, kind of like what Jeremy mentioned, is that a lot of times with big conversations like that, especially when we're trying to be very thoughtful with the way that we're saying things and what we're saying because we want a certain outcome, it can sometimes get really convoluted and kind of messy and all over the place. And
Yeah.
I felt like that conversation was not like that. Like you even mentioned, like it kind of flowed very well for the majority of it, and it was very much like question answer.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it went better than I thought it was going to go. Like the entire time I was like, I have anxiety
I
over.
was gonna say, it seemed like the entire session everybody was shitting bricks.
Yeah, like I just like felt like my stomach was in a knot. I'm like, are we just gonna like literally ruin everything right now?
And then you threw Nightfell on, and that made it all spooky ooky.
Yeah, it was like, why did you do that? You made it worse.
I loved it. I thought that song
it was
fit
great.
really well.
It was
Yeah.
it was great. But definitely added to like the tension that I felt as a player trying to make that go a good way. Yeah, so overall I am happy with the way that it went.
Jay?
Yeah, it went really well. Yeah, definitely shitting a little bit of a pile of bricks, but I think that Ecclesias did great, kind of leading the conversation. I think that it was important to not have Zio be the one, pointing out all the different points because of his connection to one of the council members, and for it to be seen by the rest of the council members as a kind of even trial. I think that was important, and so I definitely thank you, Jeremy, and Ecclesias for doing so, stepping up in that. But yeah, there was times, especially when Grand Duke Rutherford was addressing individuals, specifically when he came to Cthulhu. I was like, oh, this could turn it right around. But
Yeah.
Cthulhu did great.
Yeah, Cthulhu did good.
I'm excited to get a chance to roleplay with him and tell him, how great I think he did in that, and seeing how he's grown. But yeah, I think that it went really good. It was stressful, but yeah.
I was gonna say, so just to kind of piggyback, because Shay asked how nervous was Zio during the meeting, and
yeah, it was. Zio was very nervous. Me as a player was very nervous because I know that this could have sparked an entirely new arc to our adventures, and that one meeting could have very well done the exact opposite of what we were trying to achieve.
I'll say, well, apparently past me would have just had this arc never end and just start 13 more arcs that never finish, and then never let anyone die until 5 years later. Then one guy dies, but everybody's only level 6. So.
That's how that goes.
Yep. Shay did
somewhere
also,
along the way, a million NPCs all at once you have to play.
Yeah. Well, and also a million NPCs die. I think that also happened. How difficult or stressful was it to play all the NPCs? I wasn't stressed about it, but it was difficult. There was definitely a lot of that's the wrong voice, and it was always because of Bryce, because everybody else had a pretty similar accent, but Bryce, he had I tried to give him a more Spanish or whatever this eclectic accent was.
Quarian.
Yeah, sure. I gave him the weird accent, so it was really weird for me to hop into his voice from everybody else's. But I even said this, I don't know if I said it on stream or after, but I was like, Anthony, think. And then from that point, I didn't mess up the voices again, because before someone would speak, I'd stop and be like, this person is this person. So
yeah.
But Nick also asked a great question that I'm curious. If you could pick only one, which one of the council members would you like to talk with one-on-one to learn
more?
And we'll
get my notebook.
We'll say that Rutherford is not included.
Well, then I didn't put my notebook away. I'll answer first. I would like, not because I particularly cared for her character. No, we didn't really get to know it the most, because I really liked Zio's mother. I liked her presence, and I really liked Cornelia. But I wanted to learn more of the Artists Guild, or leader of Lady Solbrick. Mm-hmm. I thought that she would be fun to learn more. You hear about like artists, you hear about artisan guilds and campaigns and stuff, but like a high aristocratic member of said all art guilds, like I was curious about as a player.
Okay. Yeah, I liked her, and what I think is funny, because it kind of also gives you a hint at if she had a class, what it would be, because her first name is Ballad.
Hold on, I got this. Hold on, I Lich.
Yes. She's the classic D&D class Lich.
She's lit.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Justin.
Bard.
I actually, Jeremy had some good points. Like, all of them would be interesting to learn a little bit more about, but honestly, I would like to chat with Akir, the turtle.
Yeah, got it. I knew you were gonna say turtle.
Well, mostly because you caught my attention that he was calling the Duke by his first name, and I'm like, how old is this guy? 1, 2, is he just doing it because he's way older than him, and like he saw Emerson when he was a baby.
Funny
Like-
thing is,
Baby.
not that he is constrained to these years, but Turtle's life expectancy is only 50.
Oh shit.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So then, yeah, why?
He's like 37. He's like, what are
Again,
you today?
not that he's keeping to those standards, but that is the life expectancy of a turtle. What you guys would know would be the life expectancy of a turtle.
Oh, were they like besties when they grew up? Like, did they grow up together?
Guess you may have to find out. Jay?
Yeah, just kind of stole the words out of my mouth there. I think this question was brought up last time in Exploring the Archives. And I had said that I kind of want to talk to more of Atticus Bell, because he seems like a really interesting character. But after the meeting, and yeah, after hearing the nobleman Akir talk to Grand Duke Rutherford that way, I was kind of like, what? There's something more going on here, and I want to figure that out. So,
So you switching it
And-
from Atticus over to Kier?
yeah, definitely so. Another thing is that as Cornelio had stated before, that there was certain houses that were not so happy with the Grand Duke, and that could be a sign that, you know, the nobleman Akir is part of that group that's causing this disunion.
What did you all think with how everything involving Bryas went? From them discussing what happened, from him acknowledging what happened, from him stating pretty much before you guys could what happened, his demeanor, everything encompassing him. Did you guys expect it? Did it change your opinion on him from not liking him to being like he's not bad? What are your guys' thoughts? We'll start with Jay on this one.
I thought that things went quite cordially. I think that it was. I think that Ecclesius did a good job at acknowledging that once it had been stated, at least, that Cornelio had been punished or dealt with, or it will be, for his actions in Freyas. I think that he did a good job at not being like kind of constantly pointing the finger at like, this is a, you know, problem, he's the problem, and it was very much things were acknowledged, but it got kept in, everything was still relative to the discussion being had, and we focused on the larger issues, but we're still able to point out the things that and the information that we learned from that stint of our adventure.
Whomever else would like to chime in.
Yes.
I was like, does that mean you want to go?
Let me answer. No, you go.
No, you go.
Well, if you insist.
Okay,
I
Dr.
liked-
Cox.
If you
Right.
insist.
Yeah.
Crazy ass.
Anyway, I liked how you played Brius. I keep saying Brius. Brius. I liked how you played Brius, Cornelio, because I had gone in anticipating he was gonna pull a Matthew McConaughey in Contact kind of flip, where he's like the protagonist's like love interest, but then when it comes to the part where he's a seat on the council, he like really digs into it being like in opposition to her argument. I didn't know if he was gonna like lean in to kind of make us seem like we were crazy or we were doing things against. So I was pleasantly surprised how you made him more cool and collective and not necessarily defensive, which would make Cornelia a little bit more wise than just being like, well, these guys fucked all the Euthronian plans up. But I liked acknowledging him, and I also liked that he, even though Duke Rutherford was like, what he did in Freyas is not a matter of discussion here. And then later, he's also like, but we didn't approve Bryas. Like, it's kind of like the gist I got, where it did, like they seem to know that Bryas might have been a little, gung ho about whatever the plan was to do all that stuff. And I liked how we all kind of collectively mentioned it wasn't really his fault. He didn't know he was being manipulated by the big bad boy. So it's kind of fun, like taking his defense, taking the high road with Bryas.
Right.
So I did like the fact that he was on the council and how it played out. Like, he wasn't too aggressive, and we weren't just like, this motherfucker, he's the reason why everything happened. It was a good dynamic.
Yeah, I was actually super surprised. I thought that he was gonna make it difficult for us. And then when he didn't, I feel like it's even more just, I don't know, like he's covering his own ass somehow. Like, he's just trying to make himself look better. And yeah, so the entire time I'm just like, oh, like, you slimy, greasy man.
He's not perpetually wet.
I picture him like that, though. I picture him like very greasy. Like, his hair is like
I described a Spanish man, and you're just like greasy.
No, you know why he's greasy.
That's your stuff.
No.
Yeah, that's your bucket of bullshit you gotta deal with. Oh, speaking of June talking to Bryas, tomato potatoes. How badly did you want to speak telekinetically to anybody on the council, or was that a thought that didn't go through June's head? Because
Oh no, it 100% did.
I would say, but as a player, where you're like, oh, this would be fun, and that's why I like when Uradin. This is off topic, but like as June, do you think June really wanted to, or was she smart enough? But the Jess was like, yeah, but it's D&D. I can't actually get hurt. You know what I mean? There's always like that player part where you're like, what if I just threw a fork at the guy?
It's like Marisha.
Yeah.
It's like Marisha Ray in campaign 1 when she jumps off of a 1,000-foot cliff. She's like, "What's gonna happen? We're gods!" And then she turns into a goldfish and hits the water at terminal velocity and insta dies.
Oh God.
Just
because a goldfish has a hit point because 1 is the lowest you can have.
Yep.
Yeah, so me as a player like thought about it and on several occasions during that entire meeting, and I was like, oh, I could just like do that, and that would be good. That would be good. But I would like to think that, especially after like talking to Cthulhu about the almost like etiquette of these types of meetings, that June knows that would not be helpful, and therefore restrained from doing so. But yeah, I wanted to say mean things to Cornelio.
I mean, that's something that I try to get across with it too, is, you know, they also mentioned that, you know, I believe Atticus brought it up, and so did Bryas, that, hey, you know, talking to them could be profitable for everyone. So it's very clear, they're trying to, you know, get it across that it's like, especially with, you know, Bryas, and, you know, even with how he spoke to you, like, he told you guys everything, even, you know, separate from the Zone of Truth. So it was very well across that they think, you know, they don't, you know, they're not just like, I'm evil because I'm evil, you know. It's like they're smart individuals,
like a Disney villain,
right?
I hate animals.
Exactly. I'm gonna make coats out of all of them. Wow, Curls really fucking had your ass on that one. Yeah, I love you got the last one. She's like, this motherfucker, I'm gonna kick the fucking ass.
All while playing or doing combat D&D.
There was one thing, because there's always like the aspect of, we want to like win at D&D, we want to do the right thing, we want to be honest for the most part, because nobody's chaotic evil. We don't have any evil characters for the most part, as far as like their alignment and how we role play them. But there was a small part, I don't know, probably like a third of Jeremy that was like, okay, I know Ecclesias's stats. I have a +8 in deception. It's not often I get to use that. How fun would it be for D&D's sake, to not say like, yeah, those Solarians really got it out for you, and I heard that they think that your whole town smells like balls, or just to rile them up. But like, what if we I wanted to like fabricate more, because we know like we know the Bureau, for the most part, it does not have like aligned values with us, at least, and they seem to be against the kingdoms too, because they want them to fight. And the same thing with like Vovek. So there was a small part of me, a third of me, that really wanted to just be like, yeah, we heard Vovek say like Uthran's going down and he's on his way here, so we need some money and some boomerangs, because I threw mine into a fire after I knocked 3 of my friends out.
4.
Just like a
Yeah, I
javelin,
think there's
because
a little
apparently
bit more.
Boomerangs.
But yeah, that through the whole council meeting, the one trait and theme that I wanted to get across is some of them, none of them, or all of them
Simonin?
could be in some part, evil or be doing bad things. But I wanted to, hit it home that, they're smart, they're calculated. Even Bryas, who did all this, and his punishment, whatever that may be, even through that, he's like, yeah, we could really get something out of this, So
maybe it involves a pineapple.
Is that How I Met Your Mother joke?
Yeah, I'm
That's
like,
that's a Little Nicky reference.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Pineapple doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Because like we're still looking for like our justice. Like, I mean, we've been grinding for 32 episodes now, and there hasn't been like a lot of, forgive me, there hasn't been a lot of justice yet. We kind of feel like we're
justice.
yeah. It's hard. You can't. You got to say it with some biceps.
I mean, Volvek
Justice.
installed his own
Say it with your
justice in
biceps.
chapter 5.
Okay.
the justice that we like as protagonists. I mean,
Ah.
we had that with saving like the fishermen. Like, we had those good moments where we're like, yes, we are good. But if we actually go back and kind of look at the merits and accomplishments of the collective, it kind of seemed like we're wanna be good. And we're doing our best to just not be bad. Like, honestly, like, if you look at all the big things we did, I mean, like killing Lennon when he was just like,
That's what I was gonna bring up. Yeah.
because I really flipped that in my brain.
I don't feel bad about that.
I do.
I think if we, so with the leaded thing, I think if we looked at that objectively, I think alignment wise, it was a little teetering to the place you guys aren't, but moral wise, for like what you guys wanted to achieve, it made sense,
Yeah, it's
So
like, kill this guy who wants to kill somebody who's like, no, I've changed my ways. I want to be better. And it'd be really funny if like we find out the Bureau's good and Brick's like, yeah, I want to change my ways. I'm so sick of being good. I hate animals.
I hate Dalmatians. Shay asked a good question. We'll come back to the council if there's any other questions, but she said, other than the sparring in the training room, are there any other activities the collective would like to see or do or experience while they're visiting home? And then she said, yes, I'm aware that was way more words than was needed to be.
June?
Like just in Zio's house, or like in Uthran,
Uthran.
in general?
I mean, it could be Zio's home specifically if you wanna, but we'll extend it all to Thron.
Well, June is very eager to talk to Kane, and see what he knows. June would.
Oh, that's cute.
Secret
Okay,
hiding spot.
So that was like a whole thing, and yeah, I was hoping that Zio would like have this whole like secret hideout in his mansion that he would like show us, but no, Zio
Size
just
of his
he had no childhood.
Well, I mean,
had
with
90
the
butlers
size
that
of
couldn't
my
climb.
house, my secret hiding place was pretty much my room.
You're like, I
Right.
had no secret place because anywhere I was alone.
Can we all just appreciate the God rays over your camera right now?
I know, I'm like,
I
I
know, right?
tried right now.
No, like
and
I'm being
it's
serious.
just
Like
happening.
it's glaring there, but then it's like streaking these God rays across your screen. And in
It's
about
just-
15 minutes, they won't be there.
I know. So
Yeah.
everyone enjoy for now. I can't fix it. But yeah, so in Uthran, I I kind of am curious to see sort of like where the other houses live, or like where the other noblemen like their estates. I also want to check out a apothecary if there is one in the town,
pocket
which
fairy?
I am a pocket fairy.
Pocket fairy?
Yeah,
Hashtag woke up
so-
like this.
I guess my answer is probably like a little boring. There's nothing
It's not
super in
boring.
particular that
I thought it was
I
boring.
am like I need to do, because my biggest thing is that I want to talk to Kane and
You've got a
figure out what
mission.
he knows. I have a mission. I have a
Mhm.
mission. Aside from murdering the Goliath dead, but
Murder's a legal term. We're gonna kill him.
anyway, he's dead. Dream
June
realm
looks like
right
she's
now.
in a dream realm right now. Beautiful. Wow, it was even faster than 15 minutes. It was like a minute and it's already gone. Or getting
I know,
gone.
right?
Jeremy?
Sun moves
Getting
quick.
gone.
Well, of course, I want to see the Euthronian branch of the Esoteric Assembly, and other than that, I honestly, I'm so curious as, not as only as a player, but also Ecclesias is really curious as to what makes people tick, because he's traveled on the road more than he's had a roof over his head. He hasn't really had roots to plant to work on himself, really. So he's just always intrigued by other people. And learning about like their rosebud, what makes them is fun. I think Ecclesias would almost be as happy being a fly on the wall, just letting Zeo do Zeo in the town, honestly. But then the obvious answer is going to the Esoteric Assembly, because I've only been to one, maybe two, but like one I know, and for all I know, it like operates completely different. That maybe they don't care that I'm now contractable,
Right.
like a disease. Who knows? So I'm really excited to see if they operate the same way, and where it goes, and yeah, to see if it ties into the politics of Uthran, because I know that the Esoteric Assembly in Solaria didn't really, or at least as far as I knew. That and it would be nice to see water again, like, but Ecclesias likes
Cat
really
wants
warm
to see
water.
water.
I mean, like I've.
Well, in
Well, we'll get to my backstory, but-
Well, in D&D, tabaxis are traditionally an island-dwelling species or race.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
tabaxi is not that, just like half-orcs. So, tieflings don't need to be devils, but tabaxis, like if you go by what the book says, they generally come from warm climate islands.
Ecclesias
But,
doesn't like rain because it's nonsensical and you can't escape it unless you go inside. It's like tropical water. It's like you can like dip in it and stuff. But rain just like it's.
But I just like with rain though, you're like you can't escape it unless you go inside.
And you can't escape it.
Use an umbrella.
Have a spell.
You have a spell.
Wear a
You go on a
poncho.
ship. Wear clothes that protect you. But other than those things, can't escape
No
it.
escaping it.
Can't
Well, as an adventurer, who spent most of his time on
Get in a
Zed
tent.
Road,
Have a carriage.
I didn't have a tent for most of my life, and you know
The rest
that.
a
of the stream is
strong,
gonna
be
a
listing
off
strong
ways to get
coupling of
away.
trees.
from rain.
Some thick, dense, motivated
canopy.
foliage.
Fish don't swim in rain, but fish swim in tropical waters. What?
Nick, would you go back to us making your shit spaghetti and stay out of chat?
Just give us the lurk and fuck off.
Jeez.
Just kidding, Meg.
That's how audacious we're gonna be to all of our friends and followers. Just lurk and fuck off. I don't want to see any chat moving.
If I see one thing in chat, bam!
Banned. Hey guys, love it. You really inspire me to pull myself out of my depressive hole and get
Yeah.
making what makes me me. Banned.
Oh, I want to read that shit.
Yeah. Do you think I want your sentiment? Yeah.
I want to read that shit.
You know what? Hold on. Let me collect your
You
tears.
guys are
Nick.
awful.
Give me those tears. Oh yeah. Oh.
Me too. If there's any more to spare.
Mm.
He put sad robot.
Yeah, give me those tears.
You guys are mean.
Just miss teasing, Nick. You're very inspiring.
Is it? It's my turn.
Yes.
What I wanna?
I think you mentioned it on Friday, but yeah. What you want?
Yeah. Probably. Well, for one, I
Good
wanted to
point.
say after hearing Ecclesius, I think that it'll be a lot of fun. The roleplay that him and I could get into, just going around the city, exploring. That is something that I want to do. Explore the city that I haven't, explored too much of, even though I live there.
Explore Uthron.
Yep, I want to explore Uthron. But yeah, I would love to show everybody the, the city, all the different things that they want to see. I also did want to take them to the Highcrest Lodge. That was a place
Ooh.
that I
Oh,
wanted to show them.
I'm gonna
June
write
wants
that
yeah.
to go
down.
there. Yeah.
I did, I did kind of want to check out what I would know as the slums.
Which is just a normal town, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I want to see what,
Man, everywhere
especially
the
having.
slums.
I just
Yeah,
I just
kinda
love
was the
when we
thing.
were creating Uthron, and I was showing him, and he's like, it kind of just looks like other towns, and I was like, yeah. And he's like,
Yeah.
and then Jay, not Zio, Jay had
no
this
road.
epiphany where he's like, that really makes sense why Zio's always grossed out everywhere he goes, because like this is what he thinks is poor. It's just
Yeah.
regular. It's just living life. Man, all these regular people are so poor.
Look at that. They had to walk on dirt.
Before we fully move off the councils, are there any other questions you guys had?
I did want to add to the things that I want to see. I don't know if I can ask this OOC to Jay, because it'd be fun to do it in character, but I'm curious as to, and I don't even know if it's in your world, and if they're not, well, maybe they can be now. But like zealot groups or like renegade kind of groups of people, because I mean that gets really into like the nuance of like a kingdom, a big city, because you always have like the upper echelon, king, duke, whatever, lords, ladies, and then getting down to like the the peasants and whatnot. So I'm curious as to if there are people that are like down with the rich, eat the lords and ladies and stuff like that or whatever, or religious zealots and stuff like that, to see if maybe Zio might not be as safe as he thinks walking on the street, because it seems like you spent most of your time in the confines of and like the safety of your fortune. So I'm curious as to if that's even an issue, if Zio is aware of it, because again, being a street urchin, Ecclesius is aware of a lot of people that don't agree, and if there's a bunch of people slapped into one city, that's just increases that the chance of I don't know, rogue groups.
Well, what I can say is, any time that I would have been traveling out in the city, a lot of it would have been spent in the nicer areas, but any time that I would be outside of my house, I would have been traveling with Kane as my bodyguard. So,
That makes sense. That makes sense. I guess we'll find out this Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at Arcane's Arfs.
where you're at right now.
Arfs.
Yeah.
So,
Over it.
what did you,
You got to
guys
start over.
What did you? We'll just pinpoint a little bit. Jeremy, what did you think of the meeting with Master Vale?
I loved it. There's always the apprehension of being a player, like, is every character gonna fuck us? Because like you're always nervous, like with the motivations of the DM, the motivations of the characters, and since there's only so much you can do as great as a voice actor and role player as you are, Fern, to look like somebody different, to literally be somebody different.
Yeah,
And
but before you move right off that, I heard a great analogy on that, and it was every character that you play. Stop it. Every character you play is you, but you are a beam of sunlight that is hitting a stained glass window of your character, and you are imprinting the image onto the floor. And that is how every character you play is. Every character is you, but you are shining through the bodies of these people and imprinting what they are.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So I liked, I really liked learning my master's first name, because I forgot about it. But
Yeah, did you write that down in big letters?
No, because his
All
name's
caps.
William, not like Xanathobadur.
Yeah, but you still forgot it.
Yeah, I forgot it until you just mentioned it earlier. But the addition of the Electrum, making that powerful little like bubble of physical contact was awesome. And that William, for the most part, seems interested in my growth as a assembly member. And so yeah, that was all really exciting, because even though my character was introduced kind of in my backstory, just as far as like my guild, it was nice to get a little bit of feedback from people that helped make my character. So that was really exciting, knowing that he has my back, which will make it hurt even worse if he backstabs me. But I'm not playing at the apprehension that the DM is going to use every emotional connection to manipulate and hurt us. But I loved that meeting with Master William Vale.
I like when Nick, I was like, he's like, his name's William? And I was like, yeah, William Vale. And he's like, when you say them next to each other, right, they sound fine. But you know what? Alone, it sucks. I was like, yeah, that's probably why they're called Master Vale. But it's funny because when I was creating that name,
William.
I really like the last
Master
name
Vale.
because it's very simple. And I like the differences between, he's part of the Esoteric Assembly. He's obviously a powerful wizard in some way, or magic user, or even just artifact collector, right? So there's a lot of eccentric parts to who he is, but then his name is very simple,
Yeah.
Not that Velos or Ecclesias doesn't match it, but I like having someone's personality be very different than what they're named. Because
Yeah,
I
that's a
find
good
it
contrast.
and I also find that then it puts more emphasis subconsciously, I think, a little bit on who they are, rather than their name. So
Yeah, it'd be like, my name is Ecclesias Zion Marius. Oh, what do you do, Ecclesias? I am an accountant.
yeah, right, yeah. So
Wow.
Good. Everything's
You must
deductible.
read a lot of books. Everything's deductible. Fax me the business.
Yeah, before we move off the council, I was happy with, or what did you guys think of, because we never asked this, what did you guys think of the Grand Duke? We focused pretty heavily on the council, but we never really talked about the Duke himself.
I liked your little play with the shadows and covering half his face. I was like, is he gonna be Two-Face? Does he have something going on? Or is it just for Mole. No, honestly, it just gave a good image of this seat of power. And yeah, the entire time I just kept thinking, I'm like, who the fuck on this council is trying to screw him over? But yeah, I think you did a good job of making him seem different enough from the King of Solaria too, because they're both obviously in similar positions. But yeah.
Good, I'm glad, because something in our old campaign that I feel like I did, not only was everybody such a cunt, always,
Always.
but
Yeah.
I do feel like all the leaders just seem the same, cookie cutter too. So I did, and you guys spoke in our home game, this isn't, derailing, but you guys spoke to every leader directly, which if you think about, obviously it's D&D and it's fantasy, we can obviously have that, but it's that is so problematic, and just be in a logistical term of, let's just let these people who can kill people with their mind just talk to a king.
Yo, King.
And then at the same time, it's just not realistic for everybody to be able to be like, I can do magic. Let me speak to your largest leader of a kingdom. So I tried to make that also a difference where, you've spoken to, you spoke to Solias, or Tadriel, one-on-one. It was still kind of this council format, but you guys were talking to him instead of 40 plus people who he was a part of, and then having this one be very different.
Why did Eddie jump in?
I don't know. Eddie, you can talk. What are you doing, bud?
Yeah. Hey, you're live on the air.
Yeah.
You want to say hi to people, Eddie? No, you're just gonna stay muted. What is happening?
What a
I
goofball.
wish. I'm sorry, guys. I wish you could have seen that.
It
Well,
threw
like,
me.
the-
I lost
it's
my
like the
entire.
noises.
I
I
lost
was
my
like,
entire sentence.
What the? Wait, what?
Oh man.
I just picture him jumping into character stuff and not in general, and the exact same face from the clip that you saw. He's just like the.
Yeah.
But bringing it back to the conversation
Oh my
is that
God.
it does seem strange that we can just like walk up and be like, excuse me, Mr. President.
Right.
But also it was not that it needs to be historic, but even like in George R.R. Martin's writings, a lot of like the Eastern not religions, political systems, they would have like open councils to hear the hoi polloi say whatever is going on. Like when Khaleesi is the city names are gonna escape me, but it doesn't matter. Astapor, and she's just like, okay, well, how many more of these do we have? And like 235. So like, yeah, sometimes it is, but yeah, like they'll be surrounded by like their councils and stuff. But you're right, like most of the time with our interactivity with like the kings of the biggest place and like the queens of all these groups, we're just like, oh, hello, excuse us.
Yeah. So I wanted, but and at the same time, I wanted to have it so like, it's not like, they're up here, you guys are here, and then after this, never talking. You know what I mean? Because you guys are rising heroes. Freyas knows of you now. Stuff like that. So your name's traveling. But yeah, and I just, especially since Zio specifically had a one-on-one chat with the king of a foreign nation. I liked having that where it's like, yeah, you guys are talking, but there's still that small separation, like you just said, just from like Game of Thrones, where it's like he's basically just hearing you guys, so,
Yeah.
But segueing into game update, we killed a demonic creature and talked to the beholder and made it out with some nice prizes. Nice.
Ooh.
that loot.
Did you get a sun sword?
Did you get a kill everything?
Fantasy lightsaber?
It's what it is.
It's a fantasy lightsaber.
So I'm excited to ask this because none of you were directly involved with it. What do you all think of the conversation Kane was having in his room? I want to end with Jay on this one, so. Not all at once, the two of you. Jess.
Okay. I.
No, you go.
Shit. Okay. So.
That's a bingo.
Ow. Come on.
I'm
Milady?
trying. Do you want me to go or not?
Milady.
Okay, so
After
I'm
you.
trying.
Yeah, Dad.
I'm gonna come
Dad.
in here and I'm gonna murder you.
Jumped.
I'll fight you on live stream.
I'll fight you. Bring
I'll
it.
lose, but you remember
I
me.
know. Okay, so I'm trying to remember the exact like verbiage that was used and everything. From the gist of it, it sound like he was talking to someone that wasn't there, correct? Okay.
None of you were
think-
there, and none of you, and even Eddie doesn't know, so.
Okay. I think that he. Okay, so I
What do you
have this
think?
really. Sorry, I got a lot of thoughts.
Well, let him
Um,
out.
Okay, so I
Oh,
think
Eddie
that
knows
he
everything.
is potentially.
know
Eddie, you
everything.
don't know anything. Didn't you fail?
You
your,
know
like,
nothing,
sneak attack?
Eduardo.
Why, is there
I
going to be an anime version of us now, Shay?
do it.
Sorry,
I-
last time I cut you off.
Okay,
Go ahead, sorry.
wanna make?
No,
wanna
seriously,
make
go
bets?
ahead.
Yeah, let's make some bets. Okay. I think
a prediction.
that he is potentially talking to like maybe the same person, like the esoteric assembly member that was talking to Lennon. I think that Kane may be involved in some stuff. I think that he wanted to bring Zio in with him, and then Zio was like, "Nah." I think
Nah.
I'm wondering if why Kane left his parents was because he wanted to do like whatever he's doing now, which makes me hopeful that Zio's parents aren't one of the families trying to go against the Duke, but perhaps Kane is somehow involved with the assembly, the bureau, something along those lines. Jeremy, you can shake your head all you want. The assembly is so involved with this. It was literally confirmed.
Twasn't.
It was.
Go on.
It was.
Twasn't.
Yeah, and then now I'm starting to think that either Kane, I think that Kane, whoever Kane's talking to, had something to do with what happened to June's village. And I'm really hoping that it doesn't lead back to the esoteric assembly. And I'm like, I don't know. Like I said, I got a lot of thoughts. I really got nothing to go on. But
Okay. Jeremy, what do you think?
I think that June's a bitch. Just
Jazz.
started
A Rooney
just started
Dooney.
off. June's a bitch, a Junie
Rooney
Dooney.
Dooney.
Yeah, I don't appreciate all the accusations for the assembly. But I can see that point. I think
Rebuttal?
here's the thing. I think Anthony has already added so many NPCs that if he's gonna toss in a new person with a new storyline that's not something to do with this, I know this is like meta thinking about it, but I can't help it when I wasn't there. So yeah, I'm nervous that you're gonna make my assembly a bunch of bad assholes. I'm like, I swear I had no idea.
They're
But
provided.
it'll be,
Slowly
it'll
start
be,
peeling the patches off.
yeah. Just,
84
does anyone
to
have
go.
a seam ripper? But it'll be great. I don't mean to say that as in like I hope you don't. That would be, if that's what's happening. You know, Esoteric doing some shady biz because they need that electrum. But I honestly, if I've been trying to not get ahead of myself and predict things and try to play like in the moment. I know Jess is really, really clever and really sharp with that, where like he'll be like, you look down and you happen to notice a funny shaped leaf, and then all of a sudden Jess just the meme with fucking trigonometry. Well,
I'm
that
Charlie.
leaf can't be shaped that way. Yeah, me, I'm just like, ooh, fun. Must have fell from the tree. Anyway. So I'm excited to see who he was talking to. If he was talking to anybody, for all we know, we just watched Sorcerer's Stone again. He's got some on the back of his head.
Yeah.
It's actually a
No.
full back face this time.
Yeah, full back face.
He just has a mirror and he's like, "No, you look ugly."
What do you think, Jay? I'm curious on your ramblings of it.
All right, so, obviously, I think that he was talking about me, or Zio. Granted, he's asked if I wanted to kind of go on a mission with him and leave the collective behind for at least some period of time. So yeah, I'm pretty confident that he was talking about me. I also think that he was talking to possibly a higher or a leader of the guild that he's a part of that nobody knows, and I would need to go grab notes for it to pull a name, but yeah, I don't really want to say too much more about that. He was talking to that specific group. Could be completely wrong on that though. Yeah, and I just feel that you are wanting to pull Zio away from his friends and just send him off to who the fuck knows where. So yeah, I'm really curious to see where it goes, and really, I mean, if the offer has enough incentive and all that, Zio might have to leave the collective for some period of time.
Okay. I have a question from Nick to ask, but if anybody in chat has any other questions, we'll take those. Otherwise, after Nick's question, I will have the final one if the cast doesn't have any others. But Nick asks to Jeremy, do you think the people you know are involved or just part of the assembly?
Jeremy thinks not, but also thinks yes, because that would be the better option as far as story writing, like to have somebody that's again, it's the tricky thing where it's like I like writing, but I put that out of my brain when I play, because I let whoever's DMing me to write the story, and I'm not trying to figure it out for them. So no, Ecclesias does not think so, and in fact is in complete denial of that accusation. And I think it's more likely, or Ecclesias thinks it's more likely, that if anything bad's happening, it can't be his master or even Velos, because he trusts those people. He trusts those people. We'll get into my backstory somewhere in the campaign, hopefully, but it'll hopefully quell the anxieties that or reservations people have of trusting those people. But I also think, again, that it would be really good if Master Vale's like, oh yeah, the reason why I wasn't around is because I was just murdering kids. It's all over the place.
They all had magic rings. I wanted them all.
I think that they are like, they're not like directly involved with like the bad shit, but I think that they're like a supplier. They're supplying the Bureau and whoever the frick else.
Innocent. So then they're innocent regardless.
I've got some ideas myself. I think that each of these branches of the assembly are going to be working not necessarily completely differently from each other, but like, let's say the one here in Uthran is just nothing really even like the one that you're from in Solaria. So I think that maybe what Cinder was referring to was just probably the specific branch that he was familiar with, and that specific branch may be branching off and doing some really shady stuff and causing some trouble for the rest of the world.
He means every asshole, by the way.
Wait, what?
That's what EA stands for. The third group of the syndicate, I think we know, is EA, or every asshole. That is a good thought, though, Jay.
Yeah.
Well, do any of you have any other questions? If not, I will wrap this with a final question.
I do have a quick question. Oh, go ahead.
Well, is yours related to what we were already talking about?
No, it's about football.
Well, you know what I mean.
Jess, ask your question.
I was gonna ask Zio, how did you feel? I think you touched base on it a little bit, but how did you feel being back in your training room fighting Cthulhu, and how did you feel that you lost?
It was Zio felt like it was just a great feeling of nostalgia throughout the entire thing. I wasn't fighting Kane, so, that's a little bit taken away from it. Still got my ass handed to me, so that's adding a little bit more to it.
You put some good licks in. I don't know if ass handed you. I think you lost. I don't know if you ass handed you. Even without the cheat, I think you didn't get your ass handed to you.
Well, Cthulhu also helped me out a little bit in the beginning, so that definitely saved me a little bit. But I was able to actually employ some of my own skills into the fighting. So I'm curious. I want to know how much, or like how far down I got him. But yeah, it was just a lot of nostalgia, and if it wasn't for being in my training room, I don't think I would have taken the fight. It just, a fist fight with Cthulhu, something that Zio knows he's probably not going to win. And, if we were out camping or something like that, why is Zio the nobleman want to roll around in the dirt with this dirty half-orc and punch him? Yeah.
But I'm going to get dirty.
It's not something that Zio would necessarily want to do, but since he was in his training room, that was just like an anyone who wanted to challenge me there, I would have taken the fight. Just
That
to
makes
have
sense.
that
Yeah.
closer feeling of how things used to be. And I think that that is something that Zio is going to be searching for a lot while he's in Uthron, of trying to get that feeling of how things used to be before realizing how shitty the world is.
Before you got old.
Yeah, before I get old and cranky.
Curls, to answer your question, not that we know of, and Jeremy is spicy tonight. Speaking of Jezza, what's your question?
My question is, and this might be a really long-winded answer,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
and
question.
since the beginning of time.
Smaller.
This is kind of going back to the wanting to use stats, like playing the game, and because we role play really heavily. Like a lot of times, I mentioned this before, we'll go like a whole chapter and there'll be like a handful of dice rolls. As a DM, not that you're necessarily condoning or wanting this to happen, if Ecclesias, or anybody for that matter, decided to go up and kind of use their pluses and minuses to really drive something, as opposed to how we're kind of being neutral, but more like neutral good, how would you have reacted? Now it's a what if hypothetical, but if Ecclesias was like, yeah, I heard that Solarian kingdom down there thinks that they can wipe their butt with you, and the Bureau is helping them out, and if we actually incited that stuff, because like thinking about doing that in the future, not to just be wild card, but to kind of use more of my character to drive parts of our decision making.
So it wouldn't have surprised me, because I've been DMing for like 6 years now, and almost always do I think you guys lie to everyone I put in front of you. So, so I wouldn't have been surprised.
Why would you think that?
Hey, how you doing, Dave? Thank you for making it, and welcome.
Hello.
So I wouldn't have been like, wow, I really can't believe this. But in the same token, my shock would have been curbed by the fact that you'd be lying to a lot of different people. So in my head, numbers-wise, I would know that even with really good rolls, it would still be hard for you to lie. Not, I wouldn't say hard. It would be more challenging than if you were talking
on one person.
Right, even if you were just talking to, like, even if we take the Duke as the sharpest pencil, right? And you're talking to him and you're just lying to him in a room, right? You know, that is infinitely easier than talking to 6 people who even, you know, obviously, you know, they think, you know, that's the bastard, he thinks. And then if we want to, even though I wouldn't because it muddies it too much, if we wanted to extend it, there's also 20, 30 other people that were watching. So you're not, it's not like you're just lying to one person.
He's lying.
Yeah. Hey, I don't believe him. It's like, I'm just like, 1 roll, 2 roll, 3, 4, 5. All
Five
of us
sisters.
passed so far.
5 sisters.
6, 7, 8, 1 failed, 9.
Yeah. I am
so-
curious as to that role that Uridin had with oh no, was it Atticus that he was
Atticus.
one, or that did the role?
Mm-hmm. But
Is-
that's another thing. But he was speaking to Atticus, but there was, you know,
But it wasn't
6
that high of a
other
role.
people. Yeah, and there was 6 other
Wonder.
people listening. So that was, you know, kind of my point there too, was like he might be speaking to Atticus, but there's 6 other people, not including the bleachers, 6 other people that are intently listening to every word you guys are saying. So, you know, you're not just trying to deceive the person you're saying it to. What?
Did it? I was just thinking, because like we did make mention that we knew that there was an audience member. But I don't remember. Fuck! I don't remember if anybody looked for somebody that we might have recognized. Because like
No one
for all we
did.
knew, like
No one did.
Tajit might have been there, and they're like, they think I'm just making a school work in Freyas, or something like that, or even just like somebody of note that, who knows, 30 chapters from now we just see them fishing, and they're like, oh, I saw you at the, I don't know, some old broke sounding lord, I saw you at the council 30 days ago. You did great. Time to time.
Go
My
on,
shoes are
Cap.
curly.
Yeah.
Shoes are curly.
Shoes curl at the ends, just like my mustache.
So, my final question, it will probably be a longer answer because I want to know your guys' thoughts on it and your conspiracies. First part of the question is, what do you all think of the... And Jeremy, you can include the scrying that Vale did. If you didn't figure that out, that's what he cast. He cast scrying.
Figured.
So you can, Ecclesias, you can, or, everybody can, chime in on that, because I'm sure Ecclesias will tell you. What do you think about not only that vision that the scrying happened, but the dream portion of involving Vovek? And then separately, two-part question, what do you think of the vision of Cade being there, just seemingly simply sharpening a weapon and humming some sort of rhythm or speaking or some sort? Is not clear. So we'll, I think, start with Jessica.
Okay, so I remember the scrying vision. I'm trying to remember the dream bit. As far as like what Master Vale saw scrying, yeah, he he is like glowing up. Like he is he is not going to be what it was last time. And it makes me wonder, because it does seem like he is drawing powers and abilities from the Raven Queen. So I kind of feel bad for Alar. I feel like she is just like playing the both of them. Like everything that she said to Alar, she probably said to Vovek too. And and yeah, unfortunately, like Vovek is like playing into it and getting all this awesome, like, all these boons from her, and like Alar's like, I might use the sword, I might not.
Vovek's like, upgrade, yeah.
And he's like,
I found the honor room, bitch.
Yeah, so maybe Alar needs to like sit down and meditate with that sword and like get himself some wings. I don't know. So yeah, it makes me very nervous, but also like as a player, very excited because I cannot wait to like kick his ass. The dream, kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was kind of like it was him, and then there was, like you said, like there was Cade in the back, and he wasn't really doing anything. He was just kind of like neutral.
So it was two portions. The Vovek portion was just imagine the smoke monster from Lost. He seemed to be, similar to the vision, very controlling, certain types of smoke, and basically, to put it simply, he looked like he got a one-up.
I said he got a glow up.
But the separate part, so you kind of touched on that. The separate part with Cade was just imagine a large dark room with a spotlight just on him sitting on a stool, sharpening a weapon and humming some sort of tune.
So similarly to like the scrying, like the dream portion of Vovek, I feel the same. Like it's a almost a warning that he's upgraded. As far as the kind of the image of Cade just being there and sharpening the blade, I wonder if maybe he is like a symbol of the Raven Queen herself, just kind of waiting to see what happens. Or maybe he's waiting to be called upon by either Alar or Vovek to assist. Either way, it kind of seemed like he was preparing for battle, or at the very least, just kind of waiting for something. And so I can kind of see it, like he's just waiting to see what happens between the two of them, or he's sharpening that blade to use it for one side or the other.
Okay.
Cade reminds me of Bronn, honestly. I feel like he's more,
Game of Thrones.
Tyrion's right hand man. He's just like he's about the money, but he does his job. He reminds me of that kind of character in the sense where like he's gonna do what he's gonna do, but who's paying him? I don't know yet. I don't have any reason to distrust him, or really trust him. But he's done everything in our favor so far. He's been helpful. He's been open and honest as far as we know. And again, I'm not operating on the made up information that every character that Fern throws at us is gonna eventually backstab us. And as far as the scrying image that Master Bill Vale, Mr. Bill Science,
Bill Science,
helped.
the science guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna clip that and send it to Tate's. I wonder how that is going to, because Master Vale saw it, and I wonder if he's gonna be like, oh shit, this is some crazy stuff. I should help Ecclesius. Even though I said I was going to, but like, kind of put stuff, like drop what I'm doing and kind of get people to help him out. But Ecclesius is just like, we kind of almost beat him, but I think we're going to have to like really try next time. It's like, I mean, like, again, Ecclesius is not a fighter. He's not a warrior. He's a bard that plays flutes and goes to find handkerchiefs that can make you talk loud.
Toss your boomerang.
I threw it out. I burnt it. It's gone. I threw it 4 times, and 2 out of those 4 times hit at least 1 to 3 people that I was friends with.
It was cursed.
Yeah, I do want to find another one in the future, but.
It was very apparent that in the scry that Goliath
Bitch got a 1-up.
Yeah, he's gonna be more difficult to take down and kill. But we're gonna take him down and kill him, so don't have to think too hard about that. The part with Cade, I almost feel like was that was a dream that Alar had, correct?
No,
all of us had.
All
That's
of you
right.
had
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
You just don't know that because we ended on that, so not all of you know that you had that dream yet.
I feel like that was almost a taunt of like we all have this goal set out, and it's just been reaffirmed by the Council of Uthron. And he's kind of just sitting there, sharpening his sword, kind of looking menacingly. I kind of feel like that's almost he knows that this is coming, and is going to be watching with joy as this kind of happens. And it feels like he's known that this is going to happen, and I think that he's just kind of going to enjoy this. And I feel like it was almost taunting how it was laid out.
Okay.
Ooh.
Good thought.
I have a question for the DM.
Sure.
So we saw Vovex upgrade. When do we get ours?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 weeks from now.
I want smoky wings.
Tune in at the Arcane Archives right here 3 weeks from now at Eastern Standard 7 p.m.
Well, on that note, that is where we are going to wrap this week's episode of Exploring the Archives. Thank you to everybody that has been here.
Heck yeah.
Thank you for whoever the anonymous gifter is that gifted Load Last Save the sub.
Heck
Thank
yeah.
you.
Welcome to the
Thank you very
Spork Army.
much.
Load that
Hey.
save.
So what I will say is to give some inkling. Serious Whimsy, hello. I didn't get to say hello this time. Hi, welcome. I hope your campaign was going well. It was really fun to see.
Yeah.
Sorry I had to dip out so early, but hello. I hope you're having an amazing night. Sorry that we're ending.
Yeah.
but I hope you're having an amazing night. But tomorrow at our usual 2 days from now at our usual time, at 7 p.m. Eastern, we will be picking up with chapter 33. And before the session, we have a gaggle of very big announcements to go through.
We do.
So make sure
Oh,
you're
okay, we
all
do.
here at the start to catch those. We have really big announcements that we've been sitting on for a while now that we're really excited to share with all of you. So yeah, make sure you're here so you don't miss that. Sorry that you got home so late. If you were at work, I hope it was at least a good day. But yeah, really, really big announcements of some stuff coming up that I promise almost all of you don't want to miss. So make sure you are here at 7 p.m. Eastern on Friday. You don't have a table flip?
I
Jackie
know it.
does. Let's see if I missed anything. Dave, thank you
Hey,
for stopping by.
Yeah.
Whatever you're gonna say.
Yeah, just to hear us talk about our stream, it's fun.
Yeah.
We, yeah, I'm so excited for the announcements. So many, so much work. So it's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I'm excited to talk about it. I'm glad you enjoyed.
My face
Thank you,
hurt
Dave.
pro-
I'm glad
talking
you
about it.
enjoyed. And yeah, I'm rambling, so I think I'm going to wrap here. But thank you for everybody that stuck around. It was really fun. Thank you for those who gave us some
wrap.
good, juicy questions.
Mhm.
That really,
Thank you.
really gets our brains working because it's not already what's in my head. Glad
We
you're
like them
looking forward to
juicy
the
ones.
curls. And I will say you probably beat Jeremy almost every time. I don't care if you won at all. She beat you almost every time. Today. With the ha-has. Yeah, so we'll...
Oh damn,
you-
get called
you know-
out.
No, hey, you can't be sad on stream. All right, now we gotta end on a set. I'm sorry.
Can you just close it?
I'm sorry, everybody.
Can you just rap, dude?
We've talked about this. It's
Can we
unprofessional.
just rap, man?
Can
so
you just
unprofessional.
rap before I lose it?
So unprofessional. You've lost it. It's
Hold on.
gone.
I almost got one. I almost got one.
Whimsy, can't wait to see you Friday.
Yeah, can't wait to
Come
see
on.
you. Can't wait to see you, Whimsy. Wow, I see how it is. Only look. You know what?
Thanks, girls.
Yeah. Take care, everybody. We will see you Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we will be unveiling all of our big announcements. So, can't wait to see you all there. We'll see you Friday. Take care, much love, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.